Fuel prices are surging, SUVs are dominating the market. A lot of people are saying sedans are dying. However, Skoda on the other hand thinks otherwise, because today next to me is the updated Skoda Slavia facelift, and let me quickly take you through the entire product to tell you what's really changed. Honestly, from a distance, this reminds me of the old Rapid, or rather the last generation of the Rapid. If it reminds you of the Rapid as well, let me know in the comments. However, a lot of the updates that you've seen on the Kushaq have been carried forward. Some have been removed, some have been added on, but we'll go step by step and tell you what's really changed. To start off with, the headlamps. Even though the entire unit looks identical to the pre-facelift car, these subtle DRLs have changed. It's not an entire unit, it's breakers in the center. However, it looks very neat. The grille has changed as well. It almost looks like the same thing that you see on the Kushaq. However, on the Kushaq, you'd see an LED strip in the front grille. However, here it's a chrome strip. Call it cost cutting or call it, I'm not a big fan of it. I would have liked the slit LED light bar at the front. It looked really cool. It was more of a signature, given it's on the Kodiaq as well, so it would have been really nice to see it here. The bumper has been updated as well. You see these figures, or rather these weird shapes that are going on in the bumper. They look interesting in their own way. I'm not a big fan of them. I would have liked a little more cleaner design on the front. But this new sort of protrusion on the lip on the front really looks very nice. This, what you see, is the Monte Carlo edition, and as you know, Skoda and their association with rallying and Monte Carlo and all of that, this honestly is one of the best looking Monte Carlo Slavias I've seen till date, even though they've had editions in the past. You get new wheels as well, the 16-inch wheels. They'll be chrome. A lot of these accents would be chrome on the non-Monte Carlo versions. However, here they are all black, which look very nice with the red brake calipers. I like my calipers red on any car, and if you do too, let me know in the comments. The entire silhouette of the car more or less remains the same. If you move to the back, the tail lamp itself is identical to the pre-facelift car now. However, the indicators are now sequential, which definitely adds in a more premium touch. Apart from that, you get Skoda badging out here. These aren't illuminated, by the way, like you'd see on the Kushaq. Again, another miss. I really liked it. It looked very cool, but it would have been nice to see. But anyway, overall, the back of the car also looks very, very nice. You get this nice 1.5 TSI in black with the eye as a red highlight. All of the subtle red highlights all over the car looks really, really cool. Coming to the amount of upgrades you get, we'll quickly get inside the car and tell you all about it. Okay, so a fairly familiar cabin, not a lot has changed. You get new upholstery, so you have these sort of geometric designs going on in the seats with red perforations on the inside. It looks very nice, looks very premium. You have a new driver display as well. You have a 10.25-inch driver display. It's the same as the Kushaq. Very easy to read, very premium. It almost looks like something you'd see on a more premium SUV like the Kodiaq or something like that. The 10.1-inch infotainment is also identical to the previous one, but Skoda tells us that the insides, or rather the actual display unit, has been updated. It's brighter, it's got more lumens and all of that, so it's definitely a lot more smoother to use as well, and a lot brighter than the one that I remember from the past. But apart from that, more or less the cabin is the same. So you have this nice sort of maroon accent going on inside the Monte Carlo edition with a red ambient lighting strip. All this looks very nice, very clean, very premium. Still not a fan of the AC unit and the AC controls, because all of this is still touch based, and that is annoying. I've never gotten it right. I'm currently driving a Taygun as my long termer, and I still have the same issue as this, and this is something that Skoda should definitely update, maybe in the near future, maybe as a mid-life cycle update or something like that. But yes, that's something you should definitely see. Also, on the higher spec variants, on all flagship variants, you will now get a 360-degree camera, which is rather good to see. If you come closer, you'll see an entire 360-degree camera. Not that great in terms of resolution, but again, you have a 360-degree camera, which is very, very nice to see, and it's always a boon. Still no ADAS, which is, again, enthusiasts would rejoice about it. I still think that ADAS is something that's very nice to have, but in a car like this, given the price point it sits at and in the kind of segment it sits at, ADAS would have been a nice addition. Coming to space, the Slavia has never really been a not so spacious car. I am 6 foot 1 inches tall, and given my this is my driving position, and I feel absolutely comfortable sitting here. Now I'll quickly move on to the back and tell you what it feels like in the second row for someone on my frame. Okay. Now, like I said, I am 6 feet 1 inches tall, and headroom is decent, even though this is a sloping roofline. That's what headroom looks like, which is decent. I have about 4 fingers worth of headroom, actually 5 fingers worth of headroom, which is great. Knee room is also decent. I also have some amount of space underneath the seat to keep my feet. Under thigh support though isn't all that great for someone on my frame, but if you're anywhere below say 5'11", 5'10", you're going to be completely comfortable in the back seat. You have nice cup holders as well. You can sit 3 abreast, however it would be a little too crammed. So 2 people at the back, that's best with the cup holders all down here. You have 2 AC vents, 2 Type-C chargers here. You also have rear seat massage. I'm not too sure how many people would use rear seat massage. I would have really liked to see, I've said this earlier with the Kushaq as well, I would have really liked to see cooled and ventilated seats in the back as well as the front, because that's something that's definitely more important than massaging seats in a car in India, especially in this price bracket, given the extreme conditions that we have. But again, if you are someone who really needs a nice massage given after a very hectic day, the Slavia definitely has you sorted. Okay, coming to the engine options, you get 2 engine options like we know from the past: a 1 litre with about 115 brake horsepower and 175 Newton meters of torque, and a 1.5 litre petrol engine giving you about 148 brake horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. The 1 litre is now paired to the new 8-speed torque converter that we've seen on the entire MQB AOIN portfolio that's been updated. And the 1.5 litre, that still gets the DSG. So yeah, that is what the Skoda Slavia is all about. You have the base, you have the non-Monte Carlo Slavia as well, which is at the back. I'll put down a picture somewhere here now. But apart from that, this is what the Monte Carlo looks like. We will be driving the car very soon, and given the pricing, we don't know about that as of now, but we do know about something else which is also coming. So head to our Instagram and check out the new sedan that will be coming alongside the Slavia, which we'll talk about very soon. Until next time, cheers.